Greetings, fellow carbon-based bipeds. I am Scott Rose, and you are watching Explosions and Stuff. Today, I'll be reviewing the 1988 film Picasso Trigger, starring Steve Bond, Donna Spear, Hope Marie Carlton, and Roberta Vasquez. An overview of the movie? International drug kingpin Juan Philipe Salazar has been killed on the steps of an art museum in Paris, and it's up to Travis Abilene and his team of U.S. government agents to find out who killed him. Joining his team is Special Agent Pantera, who is undercover as a member of Salazar's criminal empire. It's a race against time as the agents try to find out who of Salazar's enemies is guilty of his murder. The pros of this movie? Well, first of all, this movie knows exactly what it is. I mean, this is an Andy Sedaris movie. He wrote and he directed it. He's the same guy that wrote and directed Hard Ticket to Hawaii. And this movie is in the same vein. It's about attractive women in skimpy clothes and swimsuits shooting guns and blowing stuff up. Yes, there's nudity in it, but it's not over the top. It's not more nudity than there needs to be. All of the nudity makes sense in the context of this movie. And if you like that kind of stuff in movies, you're going to like this movie. You know, this movie knows what it is. It doesn't make any apologies about what it is, and it doesn't try to be something it's not. If nothing else, that's something you have to respect. Also, this movie, and just like every movie Andy Sedaris makes, each one is the sequel to the ones that came before it. This movie is a sequel to Hard Ticket to Hawaii, and they carried over a lot of the jokes from that movie. For example, anyone with the last name of Abilene can't shoot a moving target. They just miss every time. And I like that about this. And, little things like the cow print briefcase. Things are just carried over from every movie. And they're little Easter eggs. And when you watch them, you notice these things. And it's fun. I like that kind of thing. Also, this movie is very easy to follow. Let's be honest. If you just watch the movie and you pay attention to the movie, you're going to know what's going on. You're not going to miss anything. It's a very simple to follow plot. All of his movies are like that. Every movie Andy Sedaris writes is simple to follow. So if that's the kind of thing you want, you don't really have to think too much. It's not very complicated. It's a simple, easy to follow story. If that's what you want, this is something good. Also, this movie had a nice little plot twist at the end. I'll be honest, the first time I watched this movie, I didn't see it coming. But with subsequent watches, each time I watch it, I'm like, oh yeah, he knows what's going on. He knows the twist is happening. The characters are aware of it well before the audience is. And that was well thought out. It was shown with the acting and it was shown with the writing. And that's something I really enjoyed. The cons of this movie? Well, first of all, the acting in this movie was pretty stiff. I mean, let's be honest, these people were hired because they were easy on the eyes, not necessarily for their acting ability. The female cast members, or at least the main female characters, were all cast from the pages of Playboy and Penthouse magazine. Everyone was cast in this movie partially because of how attractive they are. At least all of the leads were cast partially for that reason. So when you cast things like that, the acting is going to be kind of stiff. Acting is kind of put on the back burner for that kind of thing. Also, Steve Bond, who played Travis Abilene, I'll be honest, his acting bothered me quite a bit, mainly because he always looked sick. He was trying to look serious and determined, but he looked like he was going to throw up, really. He looked nauseous and like he was about to vomit. And that was actually quite annoying to see, and it took me out of the movie. Also, this is more about the writing, but a lot of people in this movie used poor logic. And by that I mean like putting an explosive on a boomerang and then throwing it at your enemy. Because there's no way that could end badly by putting a bomb on something that comes back to you after you throw it. There's no way that could end badly. Not at all. No. That's gonna work out perfectly every single time. She might as well just throw the damn bomb by itself. Seriously. A lot of the logic in this movie, like, let's be subtle and sneaky and, stealthy on these dirt bikes that are really loud and are bright frickin' yellow. There's no way that people will spot us coming from a mile away. Absolutely not. This is going to end perfectly. Stealth mastered. I mean, come on. That's just horrible logic. Also, a lot of the dialogue in this movie was just unnatural and bad, and I get it. They were trying to get the plot across to the audience, but they couldn't break the fourth wall and tell the audience. So a lot of the dialogue in this movie was the same kind of dialogue you see in like those medicine commercials, where the characters are explaining the effects of this medicine, but they can't say it to the camera, so they're saying it right to the other person. And it feels really unnatural and weird and awkward. A lot of the dialect in this movie was like that. It just felt awkward and strange because they were just giving too many details that the audience needed to know, but the other characters already would have known. So really, they were just using that as an excuse to talk to the audience without breaking the fourth wall, and it just felt awkward. Also, a lot of times in this movie, it was slow. The action scenes were kind of few and far between, and a lot of them weren't very long. Yes, there were some explosions here or there. Hell, who am I kidding? There were a lot of explosions in this movie. But that was it. Like, that was the entire action scene. A little bit of a chase, and then boom, and then that's the end of it, because the guy died in the explosion. That was it. There was a lot of dialogue in this movie. It was very slow, and it just felt awkward sometimes. The best action scene of the movie? That would have to be the fight scene in the office between Jade and Toshi Lam. And like these two characters, both actors who played these roles were kickboxing champions before they were actors. So the fight quality and the fight choreography was fantastic. These guys are skilled martial artists. That being said, this fight itself was flawed because it was just poorly shot. Bad camera angles, and both of them were on screen at the same time, so you just see like a foot and then somebody react to it, or a guy would punch but you wouldn't see what he was punching. So it was shot poorly, but the choreography of this fight scene was fantastic, and they both did a great job of carrying it out. Very realistic, not over the top and unbelievable, just these two guys beating the crap out of each other. My overall thoughts on the movie? This is one of those movies where people are either going to like it or they're going to hate it. And both groups of people usually have the exact same reason why. That being said, I give it one thumb up. This movie knows exactly what it is, and it doesn't make any apologies for it, which I love. It could have used a little more action, but it did have some great explosions. And of course, what guy isn't going to appreciate the eye candy in this movie? This is a movie about attractive women in tight, skimpy clothes, shooting guns, and blowing stuff up. If that sounds like something you would be interested in, then you need to check out Picasso Trigger. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like it and subscribe to my channel for new action movie reviews posted every week. Also, if you have any recommendations for movies you would like me to review in the future, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you, and have a nice day. My overall thoughts on the movie? This is one of those movies where people are either, God damn it, why am I stumbling in shit?